I feel like it is always faster that we go. We tend to just go faster, whether that's the physiological tenseness and the strength that the additional heart rate, everything that's going on, everything's ramped up. And like last night, I had done this as well in my podcasts, in presenting. If I look back at some of the podcasts I've done earlier, and I'd probably only say in the last sort of 20 that I've done where I've started to really slow things down, my speech was quick. I'm a quick speaker, and I speak quite a lot, but it's quick. And I have to actively tell myself to slow down. And with that, the presentations are better, the impact's better, my sport is better because I've taken the time to slow down. So how do we get to that state of feeling that speed and that wanting to go faster when we're under pressure? How do we get ourselves to slow down?
So I'm just while you've been saying that, I'm reflecting on kind of why would we do that? And I think it's you wanting to get a stressful experience over and done with as quick as possible. So, like for example, going back to the jiu-jitsu, I'm in a terrible situation. I could just go for it. Being out on a competitive mats is not nice when you're in the middle of the thing. People are watching you. It's not an enjoyable. I don't find it enjoyable. So, in some ways, you want to get it over and done with as quick as possible. And that's why I said I think the courageous thing is actually being a bit slower, taking your time, knowing that this is a stressful situation, but you're not going to give your best performance if you do speed up. So you've got to accept that if you're giving a presentation, I've done the same. If you're giving a presentation or you're doing something where you feel a bit uncomfortable, you've kind of got to accept there is going to be this uncomfortableness there. There is going to be this stress there. And sometimes, and that's not easy, kind of accepting that. And it's not easy having to deal with that and having to perform whilst the stress is there without wanting to kind of rush the performance. I've interviewed, my first PhD student, I interviewed Irish international adolescent golfers. That was the same thing. If there was a selector watching a shot that was great importance, if they normally did two pre-shot routine, two pre-swings, they might not do any. They might just completely rush or walk faster. It's almost like as I say, we're trying to get this stressful experience over and done with as quick as possible. So again, it's your question then, how do we get over that? Well, I think the first thing is recognizing what we do when we're under pressure. And when I work with athletes or coaches, this is one thing I work on, is that kind of self-awareness about how they normally feel when under pressurized situations. And because if you're not aware that you don't rush, if you're not aware that, you don't do your pre-shot routine that you would normally do when you're under pressure, if you're not aware of your walking speed, for example, you can't ever kind of deal with that and manage that. So the first thing is this awareness. And then when we come on to what kind of my early research was, like stress and coping effectiveness training. And that was developed at a time in America where patients with HIV, when there was no medication. So having HIV was, it would lead to, premature death. So it was quite a stressful time, and the researchers Chesney and Foltman developed this coping effectiveness training. And what that posits is that you link the coping strategy to the stressor, and they focus on what is known as the stressor controllability. So you're in a stressful situation. So bearing in mind, this would take, a few weeks to learn. So I can talk about it, kind of a snapshot of that. But I think hopefully it should be of use to your listeners. And we tested this model with a sample of Academy Premier League soccer players with one of my PhD students. So the premise is it's about controllability. Can you control the stressor? So for example, I can control a stressor for me. My coach might pull me up and say, right, Adam, your conditioning's not very good at the moment. Okay, I can control my own conditioning. So I can engage in what is known as, because I can control the stressor, I engage in what is known as problem-focused coping strategies aimed at solving the problem. So it might be time management. So I work out how to fit additional conditioning sessions in. I speak to a conditioning coach, so I'm seeking information. I set myself some goals regarding my conditioning, problem solving, working out why my conditioning might be bad, so my diet, etc. So that's for controllable stresses. Now, for uncontrollable stresses, you focus on regulating your emotional responses. So you try to take control of your emotions. So, for example, how my opponents are playing, how the weather condition, selection. I have no control over those. Some might argue where you do a little bit over your opponents, but it depends the type of sport. In golf, for example, I have no control over what my opponents are doing, what scores they shoot. So how do I deal with that stress? Well, you focus on emotion-focused strategies, so deep breathing, visualization, relaxation strategies. So we're always trying to gain a sense of control, whether it's over our emotions or over the stressor. And there's quite a lot of evidence to show that it works across a variety of different situations, including sports. So we did this study with the Premier League academy players, and we found that through increasing their awareness, teaching them different coping strategies, it was successful in enhancing their ability to cope with stress. And for me, a really important part of the study was that when we interviewed the players afterwards, a lot of the players used it outside of football as well. So in education, dealing with relationships. So it's actually got this transformational part to it, which I think is really, really important.
Hey, if you've enjoyed that video, then you can click right here to watch the full unedited version of that episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel by clicking the button below. I'll see you soon.